Hello, today I'm going to show you how you can make peer review forms for your entire class. It's actually would take a long time to create a peer review form for each individual student. So I'm going to show you how you can set it up, and then in about 10 minutes in each class, set up individual forms so that students can do peer reviews. You might use this if you have students routinely make presentations or present, so that the other students in the class can review them and everybody can see their feedback. So there's actually three parts to this. There's the part that you have to set up ahead of time for each class, and then there's setting up in Google Classroom, and then there's walking kids through creating their own personal form. So I'm going to walk you through each time, and it takes a little bit of time at the beginning, but it's well worth it for the entire school year. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to create a generic peer review form. This is something that each one of the students are going to fill out for the other students. And when we go into Google Classroom, the students are going to personalize this form so it has their name on it. You want it to be really general because like on this one, I've got criteria 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then it's a 4-point rubric. You could, if you keep it really general in the form, you can create a personalized rubric or an assignment specific rubric for each assignment and display that so students could say, oh, criteria 1 this time is whatever it might be, and rate them on that. So it's a better idea to keep this as generic as possible so that you don't have to go through this process again. So you're going to create this form, and I've just got reviewer's first name, reviewer's last name. Let's change this to rate this presentation. And then what's one thing that this person did well and one thing that they can improve. So pretty simple, but you could have whatever you want on there. Now, the next step is for you to create a folder. So you're going to create a folder by clicking on New Folder, and name this folder whatever you want to name it, but it's important that this folder have view-only rights. So you can click on Share or click on Get Viewable Link, and you can see it says anyone with the link can view. We have to force students to make a copy of this form, and so you need to put it in a folder with view-only rights. So now I'm going to go back to my forms here. I'm going to move this generic peer review into that folder. And before I leave my generic peer review, so if I click in here, here's my generic peer review, and go up here. I've got it open in several tabs, but I want to copy this link. You'll see at the end of this link it says edit. So I've highlighted it, and I'm going to copy that. Just let it hang out on your clipboard for right now because we don't need it right this second. We're just going to let it hang out there. So now we've got the generic peer review forms. I'm going to click out of these. The next thing you need to create is a form for students to submit their individual links. So students are going to create an individual form with their name on it, and other students have to be able to access that. So the easiest way to get all of that information in one place is to make a form. So this is a simple form called Submit Your Personal Link Peer Review, and this is what students will fill out. Now, important here is I need to go to responses, and I need to create the spreadsheet. So to create the spreadsheet, click here, create spreadsheet, and this will create the spreadsheet there. So now I'm going to have our spreadsheet, and I'm going to go ahead and leave this open right now. I can click out of there. It's blank, but once students start to put in their information, it will populate with their links. You may want to create a different one of these for each period. It kind of depends on whether or not you want to have all of your students' information for your entire school day in one spreadsheet, or whether or not you want a separate spreadsheet for each period. It's really up to you. The last thing that I'm going to create while I'm in forms is I'm going to create a peer review reflection form, because peer review or feedback isn't very useful if nobody looks at it. So for here, I've just got, after having reviewed your feedback, please answer the following questions. First name, last name, do you agree, why or why not, what's a new goal? And then I need to also add a question here for period, because I want to be able to sort by period, so I'm just going to add in all the periods. Obviously, if one of these was your conference, you wouldn't add that in. Okay, so now I've got this form, and I can just let it hang out. So now I have all of my forms created, and now I need to go to Google Classroom. So I'm going to get out of there, and I'm going to go to my Google Classroom, and here's my test class I'm going to assign this to. I'm going to create my first assignment, And so I'm going to name this assignment 1, so I name everything. And I'm going to call it peer review form. I am going to give it the topic of peer review. That's going to make it easy for students to find. And now, remember we copied the link from our generic peer review form earlier. You're going to copy that link or paste that link in here. Notice that now this link is in the instructions. It's important that the link go in the instructions because if you attach it down here or through forms, it won't force the students to make a copy. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to take off that edit. So I just highlighted where it says edit, and I'm going to type in copy. That's going to force the students to make a copy. The second thing I want to do in this assignment is I'm going to attach that form for students to submit their personal link. So now I'm going to click on that submit your personal link form. I'm going to add that. So they'll have this and this copy. And I'm going to walk them through these directions, so I don't need to do any other instructions. I'm going to go ahead and assign that. Now I'm going to do my second assignment here. This is where students are going to find the links to do the peer review. So now I've got, I'm going to name this, let's do some peer reviewing. Okay, so now I'm going to name this also peer review. I'm going to click here and I'm going to find that spreadsheet I created. It's right here. I'm going to add that, and I want to make sure that students can only view it because they're going to click on there and find their review. And I'm going to assign that. And then the last assignment that I'm going to do is I'm going to create an assignment that is called peer review reflection. This would be done after the students have already done the review and they have reviewed what other people said about whatever it was that they were doing. I'm also going to name this peer review, and I'm going to attach that final form, peer review reflection. And I'm going to assign this. So this part right here, if you're doing it for several classes, the only thing that would have to be different per class would be the second assignment. And by that I mean when you create a new assignment here, you can do this for more than one class at one time. So the only one that would need to be different would be this one if you have a different spreadsheet for each class. Okay, so now I've got these 3 things, 1, 2, and 3. So with the students, I would direct them to go to this peer review, this assignment right here, number 1. And I'm actually going to walk you through what I would do with the students here. So I'm going to go to my student account, and the stream is updated, so let me show. So this is the student side here. It's my little student account. And so now what I'm going to do is I would tell the students, okay, students, please go to assignment 1, number 1, peer review form, and click on this link. And now here it's going to ask them to make a copy. So I would have the students make a copy. Here where it says copy of generic peer review form, I would tell the student to put their name in here. So I would tell them to put their first name and their last name. And then if they just click over here, it automatically changes it. If you think for any reason students might be filling this out on a mobile device, so on a phone or a tablet, have them click over here and unrestrict it from the domain. Google Forms works funny with mobile devices, so it's better just to do that. All right, so now the student has made a personalized form. Have them go over here to the send button, click on the link, and copy this. Now you just click copy. And they can cancel out of there. Now the student needs to also, in this form, we're going to ask them to create the spreadsheet. So they're going to do the same thing that you did. They're going to click on this green button and it's going to create a spreadsheet, and they can just name it the same name and click create. And it's going to be blank, which is fine. So we're going to click out of here and direct the student back over to the test class. And now they are going to open this assignment. They might have opened it before, it's fine. Have them click add, from Google Drive, and now they're going to add their spreadsheet. There's the spreadsheet that we just created from the form on the student side. And it's going to appear here. Before they are all done and they turn in, we want to have them click on this submit your personal link. They're going to fill in with so each student would be doing this, and then they're going to paste that link that they copied from their form, this one that we got from over here, this link. They're going to paste that link here and hit submit. They go back over here, then they can turn this in. It's going to make it so that it's going to make you the owner of this, and it already submitted it there. If they want to be able to make changes to this, they can unsubmit it, but they're not going to need to make changes to the form. Okay, so now the student, I'm still on the student side here. If I go back to my stream, and now we're ready to do some peer review. Students can click on this link here. Let's do some peer reviewing. They click on this link. So in an ideal class, you would have all of the students' names populated here. I just populated to the fake form. So the student would find the students would find the person who was doing the presentation, click on this link, and they would fill in with their name, last name, because this is going to say the fake person, our student's name. They would fill this out and submit it. The student will be able to see all of the reviews in this assignment by clicking on this form. So this is going to show all of the students as the other students in the class fill this out. This is going to populate so the student will be able to see what everyone said. If you don't like how this gets cut off, you can change the size of the columns. I can't do it as the student because it's view only because I turned it in. If I wanted to unsubmit it, I could. So you might want to have students do that before they turn it in. It's kind of up to you. All right, so now everything is all set up. Students can view each other's forms by clicking on the peer reviewing forms. And then when the students are all done, after they have reviewed their peer review, after they have reflected a little bit, they can click on this peer review reflection form. Students would click on this, they put their first name, last name, their period. They would answer these questions, and then you as the teacher would be able to go into the spreadsheet or the Google form of this and look at what everybody said. So let's say you do this periodically and your stream gets really long. So there's a lot of stuff in your stream and you want to go back to this peer review form right here, or you want to go back to this peer review form. So you can do a couple of things. One, by creating the topic, the students can click on this peer review and it's going to just put those three things. So you can direct them to click on peer review and open it from there. Or as the teacher, so now I'm back in the teacher view here. As the teacher, I can get the link for this. So let's say right now I have assignments 1, 2, and 3, but let's say I'm on assignment number 45 and I want students to do some peer reviewing. If I click on these three dots, I can copy the link, go over here to create assignment, and I would probably say assignment number 45 and peer of the presentation. And then I would just click on the link to do peer reviewing. Click on the link here. I'm going to add this, add link, and assign. And it's going to show and take students directly to that assignment. So let me go over to the student side. Now I'm on the student side. Go back to the stream here. So now students see it like this. Period number 4 is assignment number 45. They would click here and it's going to take them directly to this assignment for peer reviewing. You could also, so there's a couple of ways to get students to the peer review. The nice thing about doing it this way is that this would be a separate assignment. So you could say, did you do peer review of the presentation for this month or their current event for this month or whatever it is. So that's a way to set up peer reviewing with your students. It takes a little bit to set it up at the beginning, but it's well worth it if you're going to be doing more than one peer review during the school year.